Thank you. Further debate, the member for Elgin, Middlesex, London.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm pleased today to rise and offer my thoughts on Bill 116, the Handheld Devices Penalty Act. I'd like to commend my colleague from Scarborough Rouge River for taking on this important issue and bringing this legislation to the floor. Road safety, Mr. Speaker, is a vital and noble endeavour, and this bill institutes one more measure that will help minimize risks on the road and ultimately save lives. To begin, I want to acknowledge that driving is a fairly universal activity. There's over 9 million licensed drivers in the province, and when we get behind the wheel, we accept there are certain risks associated with driving. Poor weather conditions, the driving habits of others, or substandard road conditions all pose risks to our safety. We accept these risks in return for the convenience of driving. However, to minimize these risks, it's important that when we get behind the wheel and for the entire time that we're driving, that our full attention is on the task. Unfortunately, the proliferation of cell phones in the past 15 years has provided a tempting distraction for the time we spend behind the wheel. Texting and driving increases the probability of getting in an accident by 23 times. That's right, 23 times. In fact, using handheld devices while behind the wheel has become the primary public road safety concern in Canada, surpassing drunk driving for the first time. Actually, comparing distracted driving to drunk driving highlights some interesting parallels. A couple of generations ago, drinking and driving was commonplace. There was a culture of acceptance surrounding this practice. However, we all know that alcohol impairs judgment and increases the risks of accidents. At the time, legislation to deter this practice was enacted, and a number of groups like MAD sprung up to educate people on the dangers of drinking and driving. Now, our young people, as a general group, are aware of the dangers of drinking and driving and make smart decisions when faced with those options. So now, this is what we must do. We must change the cultural attitude towards drinking and driving. Right now, the current fine of $155, many people that do get caught consider that as a cost of doing business. That's why this bill takes an important step forward. Demerit points are a more effective deterrent, a deterrent that, as people become more aware of the new drivers grow up with, it'll permeate throughout our system and direct the collective attitude towards distracted driving. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the Ontario Trial Lawyers Association, who have partnered with the Southland Insurance and Ontario Brain Injuries Association to establish the Drive Only Never Text campaign. I'd also like to acknowledge the Insurance Bureau of Canada, CAA, TADA, and the family that's here today who lost a loved one. Thank you for bringing your story forward. We hope this legislation will help prevent further problems in our society. And I look forward to working together with the family, the whole legislature, and the groups I've mentioned earlier. Together we can end texting and driving. Thank you, Speaker.